Have you ever noticed how some people seem to effortlessly create their dream life, while others remain stuck in endless cycles of frustration? What if I told you the only difference between these two groups isn't luck, talent, or circumstances, but rather their understanding of a fundamental force that's been within them all along? Every moment of every day, you're surrounded by an invisible force that shapes your entire reality. It's not some mystical energy that only gifted individuals can access. It's the very essence of your consciousness, the power of your awareness, and it's waiting to be awakened. Today, we're going to explore how understanding and applying Neville Goddard's profound teachings about this force can completely transform your life, just as it has for countless others before you. Think about it. How many times have you set goals, made vision boards, repeated affirmations, or tried positive thinking, only to find yourself right back where you started? You're not alone. Millions of people worldwide are caught in this frustrating cycle, feeling like they're pushing against an invisible wall. The real problem isn't that these methods don't work. It's that we've been approaching transformation from the outside in, when the true power lies in working from the inside out. Why do some people achieve seemingly impossible dreams while others struggle to make even small changes? The answer lies in understanding something that Neville Goddard discovered decades ago. A truth so profound yet so simple that most people overlook it entirely. The foundation of transformation. Let's begin with a fundamental truth that quantum physics has now proven, but ancient wisdom traditions have known for millennia. Everything in our universe is energy, including our thoughts and consciousness. When Goddard spoke about imagination being the very gateway to reality, he wasn't speaking metaphorically. He was describing the actual mechanism by which consciousness shapes our physical experience. Consider this: every invention, every building, every work of art you've ever encountered existed first as pure consciousness, as a thought in someone's mind. Your current reality, everything you're experiencing right now, was once just a thought pattern, a belief, or an assumption you held about yourself and the world. The power of I am. At the core of Goddard's teachings lies the concept of I am, not just as words, but as the very essence of your being. When you say I am, you're not just making a statement, you're activating the creative force of the universe. Think of it like this: your consciousness is like a garden, and every I am statement is a seed you're planting. What are you currently growing in your garden of consciousness? Let me share a story that illustrates this principle in action. Sarah, a woman who attended one of our workshops, had spent years struggling with chronic health issues. She had tried every treatment available, but nothing seemed to work. Then she discovered Goddard's teachings about the power of consciousness. Instead of seeing herself as someone fighting illness, she began to live from the end, another crucial Goddard principle. She would fall asleep each night feeling the naturalness of being healthy, vibrant, and energetic. She didn't just visualize it. She experienced it as her current reality in her imagination. Within months, her health began to transform in ways that surprised even her doctors. The law of assumption. One of Goddard's most powerful teachings is the law of assumption. This law states that whatever you assume to be true, whatever you fully accept as your reality, must materialize in your physical experience. It's not about hoping, wishing, or even believing. It's about assuming the natural feeling of already being what you desire to be. Think about learning to ride a bicycle. At first, it seems impossible. But once you learn, you don't hope you can ride a bicycle. You know you can. This knowing, this natural assumption, is the state of consciousness we need to cultivate for anything we want to manifest. The power of living from the end. Goddard taught that the secret to manifestation is to live from the end, to experience in your imagination the feeling of already having what you desire. This isn't about positive thinking or visualization as most people understand it. It's about entering a state of consciousness where your desire is so natural that you no longer question its reality. Let's break this down with a practical example. Imagine you're trying to manifest a new career. Most people make the mistake of focusing on the process, the job search, the interviews, the uncertainty. But living from the end means experiencing the feeling of already being established in that new career. When you wake up in the morning, how would you feel knowing you're already successful in your dream career? What would your conversations be like? How would you carry yourself? These aren't just mental exercises. They're actual shifts in your state of consciousness that begin to reshape your reality. The imaginal acts. One of the most practical tools Goddard gave us is the concept of imaginal acts, specific scenes we create and experience in our imagination that imply our desire is already fulfilled. These aren't daydreams or wishful thinking. They're conscious exercises in assuming the feeling of our wish fulfilled. Here's how to create effective imaginal acts. Choose a scene that implies your desire is already fulfilled. If you want a loving relationship, imagine hearing a loved one congratulating you on your wonderful partnership. Make it short and specific. Your scene should be no more than 30 seconds long and include sensory details. Repeat it until it feels natural. The key is to repeat your scene until it feels as real as a memory. Breaking through mental barriers. One of the biggest challenges people face when applying these principles is their own mental resistance. You might be thinking, "This sounds too good to be true," or "Maybe it works for others, but not for me." This is where understanding the nature of consciousness becomes crucial. Your current beliefs about what's possible were all learned at some point. Just as you learned them, you can unlearn them and replace them with new, empowering assumptions. This isn't about forcing yourself to believe something. It's about understanding that your assumptions about reality are just that, assumptions. The bridge of incidence. When you start applying these principles, you'll notice what Goddard called the bridge of incidence, a series of seemingly random events that lead you to your desire. This is where many people get discouraged because things might not happen exactly as they imagined. But remember, the universe knows the shortest path to your manifestation, even if it doesn't make sense to your logical mind. Consider David's story. He wanted to start his own business but had no capital or experience. Instead of focusing on the how, he simply lived in the assumption of being a successful business owner. Within weeks, he randomly met someone at a coffee shop who became not just his business mentor but also his first investor. This wasn't coincidence. It was the bridge of incidence in action. The revision technique. One of Goddard's most powerful but often overlooked teachings is the revision technique. This involves mentally revising past events to align with your desired reality. It's not about denial or fantasy. It's about understanding that time is psychological and that your present state of consciousness can actually reshape your experience of the past. For example, if you had a difficult childhood that's affecting your current relationships, you can revise those memories to focus on moments of love and support, even if they were rare. This isn't about changing what happened. It's about changing your relationship with what happened, which in turn changes how it affects your present and future. The role of persistence. Transformation isn't always instant. While some people experience immediate results, others require more persistence in maintaining their new state of consciousness. This isn't because the law works differently for different people. It's because we each have different levels of mental resistance to overcome. Think of it like learning a new language. Some people pick it up quickly, while others need more practice. But with persistence, everyone can become fluent in the language of conscious creation. This brings us to the most crucial realization. The power you're seeking isn't something you need to acquire. It's something you need to recognize. Just as electricity existed long before humans learned to harness it, this creative power of consciousness has always been within you, waiting to be acknowledged and directed. As Goddard himself said, "Your imagination is God." This isn't blasphemy. It's the recognition that the creative power of the universe expresses itself through your consciousness. Every great spiritual teacher has pointed to this truth. The kingdom of heaven is within you. The power to transform your life isn't in some external force or technique. It's in your consciousness, in your I am. We've explored how consciousness creates reality, not just philosophically but practically. We've seen how the law of assumption, living from the end, and imaginal acts are not just spiritual concepts but practical tools for transformation. We've understood that the power of I am is not just a statement but the very essence of creation itself. Remember, your consciousness is the only reality. What you assume to be true must be expressed in your experience. Living from the end is the secret to manifestation. Your imagination is the gateway to the reality you desire. Persistence and naturalness are key to transformation. The choice is now yours. Will you continue to live from your old assumptions? Or will you step into the power of conscious creation? Will you remain a passive observer of your life? Or will you become the conscious creator you were always meant to be? If this resonates with you, subscribe now and join our community of conscious creators. Your journey of transformation begins the moment you decide it does.